Welcome to Through the Lens of Astrology. I'm your host, Heather Ariel, and it is Thanksgiving, and we have a special show for you today. There's a lot going on. One, the astrology, right? There's been a nice energy shift. We had all that intense energy in Scorpio. If you remember, we had Sun, Mercury, Mars. Well, it is starting to shift into lighter, more buoyant energy. That is Sagittarius. It is Sagittarius season. I love it. It's like, whoo, let's get that little bounce in our step. It is a fire sign. So already things will become more active. Fire makes us want to do things. And remember, Scorpio was water. Scorpio was all about, what do you feel? I talked a lot about that if you've been following the show. When energy is in water, it's how do you feel about things? And then fire is like, well, what do you want to do about them? Okay. Now, Mars is still in Scorpio. If you really want to know what Mars is doing in your chart, you can catch that video. I take Mars through Scorpio through the 12 houses, and then you'll know, well, how is that really activating what you're doing? So we're going to talk about that energy shift. Also, it's been an intense week. I've been watching a lot of news. I'm sure you all have been following the trials. The Kyle Rittenhouse. I was shocked. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so I was looking it up, and they're saying, oh, maybe it's not as shocking as you think because I don't have that degree, but I still was very disappointed in that verdict. And then the Ahmaud Arbery, I was like, okay, let's get some justice. But yeah, we've been following that. Then there's supply chain shortages. So I know it's been an intense week, I think. And there's still such divisiveness, right? And so divisiveness, yeah. And so we really have to think about, okay, yeah, we got big issues here. There's systemic racism, right? There are people just like, at odds. And so a lot of what I think about, well, how can we reach across the aisle, right? How can we reform with with civil disobedience, with love? Like, what can we do? So Sag energy actually gives us a lot of good ideas for that. So that's why it's going to be great to connect. I'm just going to show you the card. Connect with this energy, because when we do, um, it increases levels of tolerance and of joy and of optimism, things that we need in order to make things better, right? Because in order to make things better, yeah, what do we gotta do? We gotta believe that things can get better, right? And so we need that little fiery Sagittarius spark sometimes. So it's like, that's great. We're going to talk about that. It's also connected to Jupiter, which is expansive. Um, it's abundance. And when you think of abundance, it's not just like material abundance, it's abundance of spirit, abundance of generosity, right? Of really like listening to somebody else and having that um expanse happen, where either it's in the mind or the heart, right? So these are all it's beautiful energy for what we're going through now. Also, I've developed an oracle card spread just for today that I'm going to share, that is going to hopefully help us come together as a community and really connect with the Thanksgiving themes of because like I'm hearing right now, I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. It's like that is a beautiful Sagittarius song, and that is also a really nice song connected with right now. It's like, let's when we connect to that, even when we're talking about difficult issues, it allows for the love to like come in and for us to maybe find some creative solutions, right? So okay. And the oracle card spread is, how are we going to come together as a unified group and unit, right? Because we want, when we become unified, it's like we're all in this group and we're all so different, but yet we can connect on a thought level, we can connect on an energy level and say we're going to participate, right, in our communities with this similar intention. And that's going to help, just raise the vibration, raise the consciousness of the whole planet. And it's like put out healing love. Okay. All right. So Sagittarius energy, it is the highest level of Sagittarius energy, is that of tolerance. Why? Because it is all about people who are different from us. So when Sag energy comes in, and I'll tell you, if you got Sag energy in your chart, everything I talk about is open to you every single day. And for the rest of us, we kind of got to wait for this season to take advantage of it. But it really is about, it is about being around people who are different, right? Whether you're like, people who are speak different languages, they are from different countries, you want to eat different food, you just want to expose yourself to people who don't think exactly like you, right? And know that there can be beautiful gifts that can come from that. And the highest level, as I said, is tolerance. I mean, that is what we need more now than ever. I mean, that is the biggest thing that I see right now is intolerance and anger and like really this polarity. There's that. And so I feel this is one of the most healing energies for when there is political divisiveness, right? This is one of the best energies because it's also very philosophical and it also deals with education. So it's about, well, what happens when we educate ourselves, right, about issues? And then it's like we incorporate facts and a couple of really important things. We just have to and yeah, the belief, right? We have to believe things can get better. Okay. That's really important. Okay. So Sagittarius and Jupiter. Now, think about Shirley Chisholm. All right. And she was the first, in fact, I wrote about her a little bit. And I really I just wanted to read this because she's been somebody who's been a real inspiration to me. Okay. And of course, she was the first African American woman to be elected to the US Congress. All right. And when I read this about her, I was so inspired. And this is the kind of thing where we got to reach across the aisle right now. Okay. So, now all right, she visited segregationist George Wallace in the hospital after he was shot. And, I know that it's like this can be very surprising when people do these kinds of things. But she had several planets in Sagittarius. And so when you do that and you connect to the highest level, you want to pursue high ideals, right? And it is about being inclusive instead of being exclusive. All right, that's a big thing with Sag energy. So let's think about that. So she decided to connect with George Wallace, right? To say, I'm going to be inclusive because I'm going to try to work together because you always want to be reaching with people. You want to be connecting with them, right? To then, how can we come together? All right. So, and I love this. And because of that, um, she gained his support for a future bill that helped domestic workers earn a minimum wage. And that stays with me because that inspires me to say, you always want to retain your joy, your optimism, that belief, right? And then you go and you share your knowledge and you share that educational information because you never know when you're going to be able to find an agreement, even if you disagree on a lot of things, right? You can then come together and agree with someone and really have progress. And I'll tell you, this whole systemic racism, I mean, I'm from Louisville, I talk about that. And there's like, I go around town and we have, we call Breonna Taylor Queen Breonna, and rightfully so. And so there's just been one incident after another, right? And so this is something where I'm saying right now, let's really connect to the tolerance and the optimism of Sagittarius and do everything we can to be facing these issues head on because we still got Mars and Scorpio, time for truth. Yeah. And really work on that. I also wanted to talk about transmuting energy because that also impacts how successful we are. And I'm telling you, I'm right in this. I say I'm part of the group. I'm not above the group because I'll tell you something that I do. Okay. I get just as out of balance as anybody. And just before I started filming, I had a surprising message and I let it get me out of whack. I did. And then what I started to do, I started to sing Madonna's Om Shanti. Do you know that one? Om Shanti. It's beautiful. Anyway. And within 30 seconds, I started to feel an energy shift. So for me, I love how music um, helps me transmute my energy. If I feel, oh, I'm getting angry or I'm like shocked or whatever. So make the list of music that really speaks to you. And if you, and you'll notice that if you start it's just singing it, it could probably pretty easily shift your energy. And it's all about finding things that work for you, right? And I mean, I talk about meditation. There are a lot of tools. You can check out my radio show through the lens of astrology on Beacon of Light Radio. The Thanksgiving episode actually has a compilation of a lot of self-care rituals and rituals that can, if you incorporate, they're going to help you transmute energy. So you just got to, try some things and find out what really helps you to do that. But I mean, I just did that and I just did it for, a few seconds. And I was like, okay, all right, we're going to go forward. But as I always say, be present with your energy, right? Because that's the only way you are really going to transition it. We can't be in denial of the energy. And that's why I'm always talking about like, okay, what are the gifts of this energy? Let's use it. So Sag is active, it's fiery, it also deals with having a message. So that's why it's great to talk. It's great for politics because it's basically saying it's a belief system, right? And it doesn't have to be, it could be religious, but it can also just be a message. It's having something meaningful to say. And it's also honoring freedom. So we always want to say, well, okay, how can we make sure that everyone feels free? Because sometimes there's a lot of talk right now about, we have this idea of individual freedom, but sometimes the irony is that you start to restrict other people's freedom, right? Because you want your freedom. It's like a slippery slope. So we always want to say, okay, we want to have our freedom and we want other people to be freedom. And we want other people to have their freedom. And that's where it comes into honoring differences. Yeah. So, okay. So, Sag and fire, it's very mutable energy. So that means there's like flexibility, adaptability. So it's like, it's okay to like say, that's why it's okay to say, oh, I believe this and I believe that, and you believe that, and maybe we believe this together. And so that's really fascinating, that whole trajectory. And it is also, it's the third fire house, it's the education house, it's the house of publicity. So that really is, you got something to say, go ahead and say it, right? It's like you whether it's you publish, you write, you speak, but you share what you believe in, but in a tolerant way. Okay. And I just think, oh, that's the energy we really need right now. Okay. So let's think about that. And boy, there's so many people that I am thankful for, because I'll tell you, in intense weeks like this, when you really watch as much news as I do, sometimes it's like, sometimes I really go through a lot. I always say, get your news from people who you feel can, it's like make you feel good about it, and also it maybe have some equilibrium, because I can get very excited. Okay, I'm a very passionate person, and so I mean, I'm very thankful for, like, I've been watching Nicole Wallace, I've been watching John King. I just saw Rachel Maddow last night, interview Hillary Clinton, and it's like, when you watch these people, there's like this quality, right? Of like, okay, I can receive difficult news, right? And still feel like it's okay. And so find those people for you. Make sure the people you're watching make you like, they don't put you in fear mode, that even when you're maybe receiving difficult information, that you feel like, okay, I can be a productive citizen. I can get a handle on this, because you want the information, but in a certain way. And that's something that I've been thinking a lot about. So just, that's something you check in with that, but make sure that you do that, because that's something that's going to directly influence then what how you then share your energy, because we want to stay in joy mode, in that we want to stay in the mode of hope, right? And so, yeah, so because we want to be able to feel that we can make positive change and reform. So that's what I would say. Now, okay, so let's do the oracle card spread. All right. Okay, so we're going to do Okay, so all right, I'm gonna do some messages for us. And I was just listening. That's so funny. I was just hearing the Go-Go's thing. It's like, um, I don't know if you saw the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was extraordinary. I've seen parts of it, and I just really sat down, and it was amazing. And I'll tell you, I had not been, usually I listen to music all the time, and I realized I had not been listening to as much. And just having that exposure completely transformed my energy. So I really, that's why I'm talking about how do we transmute energy. Find out the ways that work for you and just keep doing them. So I mean, hey, I'm getting out of balance too, where I'm like, oh, wait a second, I didn't listen to the music this week or today. But I'm just saying how important it is. And the Go-Go's, yeah, I love the Go-Go's. They make me want to just dance, and I feel so good. Uh, and so that was wonderful. And you saw, if you watch it, Drew Barrymore, and she has intelligent optimism. That's what we need. That's what we need, right? It's like we're not going to be all just like everything's just going to work out. No, but we do need to believe that it can work out by trying. Okay. And the album cover of the Go-Go's, where they have the face mask and they have the towel and they have the hair. I just love her. I mean, it was so theatrical. She got up there and she put the face mask on and she did all of that. And I just thought, this is the essence of joy. And now I'm here like, I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like we've got to carry that. So then it makes it easier to reform, right? Like it's okay. It's like okay to have both. Yeah. So, but I watch that and I love that. And I tell you, I mean, uh, oh, that's so funny. I'm thinking of Jay-Z, where I've heard his music, but you know what? I hadn't really just listened to his lyrics as poetry. And we have to remember, because songs are poetry. And I taught songwriting, and it really is true. And so that's another thing you can do. Listen. And when you really like a song, just read the lyrics and just, treat it as a poem, because that's art, and it elevates and it's beautiful. And you'll see a lot of people came out to read the, even Trevor Noah read a line. So like, it's like just it's extraordinary. Like all these people, you're thinking this is like a really interesting group of people they got to like read this, and so it can transport you, because we also want to be transported, because that helps us to transmute our energy. And if we can stay in that optimistic state, then we're going to be putting that energy, we're going to be able to share that with others, and then people have hope, and then people have the energy, right, to make reforms, because that is necessary. So yeah, so I'm talking, yeah, so that was something, so that was wonderful. You can YouTube that. That was a real highlight. Yeah. And then the Foo Fighters, where they did several songs, and I mean everybody was, oh my gosh, there are a lot of people on that, a lot of amazing. So that was something, and that completely changed the energy of my week. So that's why I'm bringing it up. So think about it, like you can have like one event and just changes the energy. And it starts off with Carole King and Taylor Swift. Everybody knows I love Taylor. Yeah. So it's just like, think about that, because that's our responsibility. And I had let myself down a little bit because I had not been doing it. So that's why I'm saying, hey, I'm part of the group, not above it. But let's just be conscious with our energy and do what we need to do to make sure that we stay at that level. But not just for us, but for others too. So, okay. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Sag and how to incorporate it. But I am going to talk about, boy, let's just bring some healing energy. All right. Let's do some inspirational messages where we want to bring some healing, right? Because that we still have the Mars in Scorpio, which is the essence of healing energy. It is powerful. And think about President Biden and Hillary Clinton. Those are great Scorpio role models, because it's all about when they speak. I mean, really think about, it's so powerful. You sort of just like, you're just like staring at them, because they are able to turn personal pain into public healing. And that is a gift of Scorpio. So if you have Scorpio energy, you want to kind of rise to that when you feel like it. Um, and so there still is tremendous healing. And we always want to be bringing that energy in, because then it's about we bring it in and then we share it, right? And it's kind of like, ooh, that's what we want to do. So that's why I say, how can we bring it in so then we can share it? Okay, so let's go ahead and bring some healing energy in. And, if you're part of the group, yeah, you are really giving energy to the group. And these messages are for all of us. This is like, how can we come together? Because we want to be coherent. We want to help ourselves, but then we want to put that energy out and help others because, yeah, we got to be responsible for the group. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. This is so Sagittarius. Okay. How can we bring more healing energy in? We got to accentuate the positive. Okay. So look at that. Let go. I know what this card says. Let go of all. Maybe I do have to like look quickly. Let go of all doubts, fears, and negative thoughts. Focus instead on your passions, your hopes, and your dreams. This is exactly what I have been talking about with the Sagittarius energy. Okay. So we do have to really accentuate the positive so then we can, when something um, happens that is absolutely devastating, we have the energy to do what it takes to then ameliorate it, right? And just say, okay, what can we do to make sure this doesn't happen again? How can we address this issue and improve it, right? Woo, that's a really important message. Okay, now, yeah, let's bring some joy in. Ooh, how can we increase our joy is the next message. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We increase our joy. Amen. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. We can increase our joy by asserting ourselves. Okay. All right. Now, this really means sometimes there's conflict. Mars reversed. Yeah, there's conflict sometimes, but it's saying if we don't address it head on, then that kind of dampens our joy, right? And we get that feeling. So this is saying, you through assertive diplomacy, face it head on. I think Amika Brzezinski, she's got Mars and Libra. She's one of my favorites because she excels at assertive diplomacy. It's like, it's amazing. So you look at how she interviews somebody, how she handles herself. She asks the toughest questions there. Like when you really if you just read a transcript of what she says, you're like, oh, it's like this. But the way she delivers it, it's almost like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Wait, what did she say? It's like that kind of thing. So that's Mars. That is an assertive diplomatic Mars. That is the message of it. When it's reversed, it's saying you assert yourself, right? You face the conflict, but with diplomacy. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, gratitude. How can we increase our gratitude? And I'm so thankful for each and every one of you listening, giving your energy. I love doing this show, and we are a group. Yeah, and it's very meaningful to me. So I'm so grateful. Yeah, and I think of the Alanis Morissette song. Yeah, the thank you song. What a beautiful song. And the transparency, I'm just seeing that video. I don't know if you saw the video, and she has her hair down and she was naked, and it was she was so authentic. And there's a transparency. I thought that's also very Sagittarius. Sagittarius is known for being incredibly honest and almost blunt. So it's like this is the time for like honesty, for joy, for optimism, for sharing to having philosophical debate, philosophical discussions, where in an educated way, so that you can come together with somebody who is so different and yet form some kind of synthesis that then can do some real good in the world. Okay, now we want transformation. Okay, all right, yeah, so we got like 3 and 3 and 2, so it's like an 8-card spread. How can we bring in transformation? Okay, so this is number 1 of the next 3. So we had 3 cards, now we got 3 cards. Okay, transformation. Oh, the 6th house, we get this a lot. This is saying, look at your daily routine, get it the way you want it. Think about how you do your work. What is your diet? When do you get up? When do you go to sleep at night? That is going to transform your energy. I mean, I changed my diet. I become a different person, and I'm not a doctor. I do love to fast, and you can go to your doctor about that. You can look into Prolon, but I do stuff like that, and I felt completely rejuvenated. But I'm not giving any medical advice, but I'm just saying, if you don't feel right, look at your diet. You may want to make a change, maybe more fruit, more vegetables, go to a nutritionist. Think about your daily routine, because that's going to be a way that you can successfully transform. And that's also the house of being of service. So you can also think about that. Okay. Now, how can we become more resilient? Yeah, we want to become more resilient. Oh my gosh, we got the sun. Okay, so the sun means shine your light brightly, illuminate what's going on with you. Okay, now we did get it reversed, which also means check in with any the male energy around you. Sometimes that can get a little out of whack, and so we can become more resilient by it's like by embracing your inner illumination and your light, but also making sure that if there are men around you sometimes who may need more support, that can increase your resiliency. Okay. Now, okay. And it could even be a relative. Yeah. And yeah, okay. Now we want to blend the head and the heart. I talk about this a lot. Okay. How can we best blend the head and the heart? Okay. Amen. Okay. Oh, Earth. Oh, that is gorgeous. Okay. That means, yeah, we got to be a little practical. Okay. Earth is the physical plane, right? Yeah. And so if we want to blend, I always talk about we have our intuition, right? But then we have our, um, it's like we have the rational thinking, and we want to connect both. We want to have a beautiful blending of that. So that means, yeah, you're going to indulge your senses, embrace the earthly plane, right? But it's being practical. It's saying, let's make sure that we have the rational thought and combined with nature. So like ground yourself, spend time in nature. Don't, it's like have the food you want to have. It's like embrace the earthly pleasures. It's going to help you feel especially alive. Okay. And the earth is saying, it's also something of, it's like I feel the earth move, under my feet. It's that kind of energy where it's like it's real. Okay. The earth has like real. And so sometimes if we get too intuitive, we're like, woo, we're flying, right? And we're like in a dream world. And then if we're too in our head, we don't feel the earth move, okay, under our feet. That's Carol King. Okay. So that's the kind of energy that if this is going to help blend us, yeah, feel it, connect, right? And it's just going to help to bring both together. That's really beautiful energy. Okay. Now we got you know what I always like to do? How can we put healing energy to the group? Okay. We have a couple more cards. Okay. Okay. So we want to, here we go. All right. Because we want to then heal the group, right? Not just ourselves. All right. Amen. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right, 1 second. So now we want to put healing energy out into our bigger group, right? Our through the lens of astrology group. All right. Here we go. Because that's a very important group that we're part of. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. We got Libra energy. Okay. So now, when we get Libra energy, that is balancing the scales. It is, fighting for justice. Oh my gosh. That's Kamala Harris. That is, we think of these trials that we talked about. Yeah, so we want it, but we do it through being fair. We do it through saying, oh, this is this side of the issue, but then here's another side, right? And then you debate, and it's rational. It's rational energy. So if you have Libra, share your rational thoughts with people. And it really is, it's the only zodiac sign that's the scales, right? It's an inanimate object. So it's basically saying, okay, I'm going to really understand this in a rational way. That's why it's connected with legal issues. So, okay, we're going to heal the group by giving beauty to the group, by giving love to the group, and by upholding justice. That's really important. Yeah. Okay, so this is some energy of how to heal the group, okay, of how to give energy to the group. Okay, now we want to also, how can we heal the larger groups? Okay, so now how can we heal the larger group, right? Because we want to always, whether you're part of your neighborhood, the country, the world, right? We want to put out as much healing energy to the world as well. Okay. Oh, Cardinal. That's beautiful. Cardinal energy is very much, it's individual initiative. It's saying that we just have to do it, right? So if we embrace to the fiery Sag of action, right? Let's do it and connect to your passions, because Mars and Scorpio is connecting to your passions. Then you're going to be able to put out, you're going to be able to share that energy. So that is very significant. Wow. Okay. Okay. Now, and also, we use those, and I did a whole nother, let's see, we have another pair that popped out that's kind of uber, right? Okay, so two cards to keep in mind: Mercury and sextile. We have wonderful opportunities right now, a lot of communication, and I am going to go ahead and also for, you think about people in power, you always want to give energy that is going to really support the people in power, whether you agree with them politically or not, right? So our president, our vice president, you want to give them healing energy. Anyone who can raise the consciousness of the planet is really, really important. We want to do that. Okay, so yeah, so then, and how can we really inspire and heal those people, because we want to put that energy out. Fire! Oh my gosh, ready to launch. Okay, this is a beautiful card to inspire us all. It's really saying, be bold and resolute. We're going to take those beautiful philosophical Sagittarius actions that are tolerant, right? And that are inclusive and not exclusive, right? And we're going to be inspired by all of that. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed this special Thanksgiving show. And I'm going to be, and I'm going to be doing another video in a couple of days, because I want to go into more detail, because there is so much going on. But I wanted to do just a healing show to really help us connect with this optimistic, generous new energy, right? And to say, yeah, we can be the change, right? And so this is the fire card, right? Let's take these wonderful tolerant actions and bring people together, right? Inclusive. Okay. So, and keep in mind transmuting energy. A couple more songs that I listen to, Harry Styles' Fine Line. I talk about that, but like, ooh, you get the equilibrium. And then one that always makes me dance, find those. I mentioned the Go-Go's, and then treat people with kindness. Oh my gosh, I can't watch that video without, like, I start like moving around and dancing. Find those. Have your song to bring equilibrium. Have the song to get up and dance, okay? And that's just one beautiful way to transmute your energy. So, okay, until next time, enjoy and embrace transformation. And you know what we're going to say, tolerance, to recognize the Sagittarius season.